Why does Assassin's Creed Mirage not have Unity style parkour? And that is a question people frequently ask. It's also one of the most controversial and dividing topics. Some people say that it's a good thing and some that it's a bad thing. Now, what I'm gonna talk about is the reason why Unity style parkour is probably not implemented in Assassin's Creed Mirage by the team. And before I start talking about the reason, I want you guys to have an open mind, as we all are Assassin's Creed fans and we shouldn't be fighting for no reason. Also, consider subscribing to this channel and liking this video for more AC Mirage content. Any company is not stupid enough to not implement things that have worked in the previous games. And of course, Assassin's Creed Unity had a really good parkour system according to the people. So one of the reasons why Unity style parkour is not implemented in Assassin's Creed Mirage is because there's some things in the parkour system that people don't talk about, and that is heavy use of automation. Now, what does this mean? What does automation mean? If you know a little bit about game development, the animations are first made and then added in the game engine. In simple terms, the animations are triggered after a set of situations and instructions given by the users. And by the instructions, what I mean is the keys that we press. Now, the possibilities of the situations you will be in are unlimited, because when you are playing the game, every action is done in real time and not pre-rendered. The game does not know what you're gonna do next, right? And you yourself don't know what you're gonna do, right? You just randomly do things which are coming in your mind. So the game does not know it, and the game does not have those animations ready because it needs to render that. So this is where the game engine works. It calculates in what situation the action or animation would happen in combination to what keys you press. Now, suppose you are playing an Assassin's Creed game and you are standing on a ledge of a building. Now, if you press your W key, what will happen is that you will just stand right there, because they have the system that will not let you fall. Your character will just stand right there and maybe see down and not do anything, because this is how it works in this game, that they have some set of instructions given that if you come near the ledge, the character will not walk past the ledge, otherwise the character is gonna fall. But if you see Grand Theft Auto games or other open world games, if you stand on the ledge of a building and try to walk past that ledge, you're just gonna fall, because those games don't have the parkour system like it's there in Assassin's Creed. But if you press your free running key, you will probably jump on another object from there, or even if there's any building nearby. So it has to calculate all that action in real time. But the distance between that object and where you're standing is gonna vary a lot. Some objects are gonna be closer to you, while some objects are gonna be farther from you. So of course the action should vary a lot, because the distance and where the object is placed is gonna matter a lot, and also what kind of object is that. Now, of course, it's gonna be pretty hard to make animations for these many different types of situations you're gonna be in. So what they do is that they create a set of animations to make everything simple for them. Now, of course, in some situations, the animations are not gonna fit properly, because the objects might be a little farther or closer than what the action has been recorded with. So to kind of make it work, what they do is that they use automation. Now what that automation is gonna do is that it is gonna align our character with that object, so that it looks like our character is actually standing or placed on that object, so that everything is in proper sync and it's aligned properly. And sometimes when it's not done properly, you might have seen that the character kind of desyncs and it looks like the character is actually not placed on the object properly. So this task is pretty hard to do, but it can be done with a lot of testing. Now, what happened with the Unity parkour system is that there were a lot of objects, and the way it was structured was that everything was very chaotic, and you had literally a lot of things in the whole scene on which you can jump on. So it makes everything harder, and a lot of times what happens is that your character would not do what you're intending to do, because a lot of times the game has to decide which action it should do, and when there's a lot of options at that particular point, the game would randomly choose things on a little bit of differences, right? Suppose you are standing 2 centimeters on the right side, then action is gonna be a little different, and the way your character behaves. And that's what was the problem with Assassin's Creed Unity. A lot of times you might be thinking, let me jump on this building, but there is a pole which is on the right side of that building. Now, even if you're trying to jump on that building, sometimes what's gonna happen is that if you're a little closer to that pole, what it's gonna do, it's gonna rather jump on that pole. And that's where the problem happens, because you cannot predict what you're gonna do next. And also another thing which you can see with this automation is that if there's a lot of distance between two buildings, your character will literally snap on that building from where you jump, and you can see the effect that's happening. It's completely unrealistic in my opinion. Your character feels like a magnetic object. Now, I know a lot of people are gonna say, well, games are not gonna be realistic, otherwise people are not gonna enjoy it. And I would say that it's completely subjective and it depends on how much realism you would want in the game. Me personally, I would like the parkour to be a little more realistic and have more control on our character. Assassin's Creed Unity was also one of the games that had motion capture involved in it, so the parkour animations looked kinda clean in my opinion. And it also felt really flashy, and I actually liked that thing, but in my opinion they could have done a little more better in that part. And I can agree that Assassin's Creed Unity's parkour system was really ambitious, and if they continued working on this thing, they could have done better in my opinion. But they stopped working on this after that, and they completely deleted this parkour system from the whole franchise after Assassin's Creed Syndicate. So I'm not saying that Assassin's Creed Unity's parkour system was bad, but I felt like it could have been better in my opinion, and also having a little more control over the character would be good. There was also a lot of input lag involved in this game, and you can actually feel it. Now, this thing that I mentioned above was actually implemented in Assassin's Creed Syndicate a little bit. I felt like the parkour was much more polished, but the use of rope launcher made it really useless. So people were not able to do the parkour that often, and who would do that when you can just use that rope launcher to reach the top of any building? It's just time saving, and in my opinion, even though it was fun, it just removed a big part of the game. Another reason why Assassin's Creed Mirage does not have Unity's parkour system is because the studio which is making Assassin's Creed Mirage is a pretty new studio that was set up in 2017, so it does not have that much experience, plus there's not as many employees in the whole studio. So of course, making this big of a change in the parkour system is gonna be pretty hard for them, and I don't think it's pretty easy to do that thing which I mentioned. I feel like a studio like Ubisoft Montreal or Quebec is probably more suited for this kind of change, because their studios are more experienced in my opinion, as well as they are pretty big. And I hope that in Assassin's Creed Red or Assassin's Creed Hexe, which are the two next Assassin's Creed games after Assassin's Creed Mirage, are probably gonna be the ones that are gonna have improved parkour system, because they are coming from the studios which are pretty experienced in the whole Assassin's Creed franchise. Montreal was the one which made first part, second part, Brotherhood, Revelation, stuff like that. Quebec was the one which made Assassin's Creed Syndicate and Assassin's Creed Odyssey, so they are also pretty good studio and have some experience with the game as well. Recently, the team which made Assassin's Creed Mirage, which is Ubisoft Bordeaux, had a Q&A in which people asked a lot of questions, and one of the questions was that why Assassin's Creed Mirage does not have a parkour system like of Assassin's Creed Unity. For example, the side ejects and back ejects. And what they said was pretty similar to what I said, that they want to focus more on the stability and the control over your character. And in my opinion, that's pretty reasonable, and it's also a safe bet coming from a smaller studio. Now, in conclusion, what I think is that Assassin's Creed Unity's parkour system can be implemented in a future Assassin's Creed game, but it will require more of an effort, because doing that thing takes a lot of experience and also a lot of time. As I said before, Assassin's Creed Unity used the motion capture technology, and not all of the studios are gonna have that technology, of course. So I feel like this is most suitable for a bigger project that can be done by the bigger studios. And Assassin's Creed Mirage was of course a Valhalla DLC, so we shouldn't expect that it should have this kind of change, and it's also developed by a much newer and smaller studio. So anyways, these were my thoughts, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and feel free to comment down any thoughts that you have, and make sure to subscribe this channel and also consider liking this video. I'll see you guys in the next one.